And let's talk to Vanessa Frake, former prison governor, because a story that came across our desk today is about the probation service, which, of course, we said many months ago is under extreme pressure. They have real problems taking care of all the people they're supposed to keep an eye on. But then more and more people started to get released from prison, and more pressure got put on the probation service. And now they're basically saying, send them all back to prison, for heaven's sake. Vanessa, very good morning to you. Hi, Vanessa. I can't hear you. I don't know whether you're in some way... Oh, can I hear you?
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. Sorry. Yeah, prisoners being sent back to jail because it's the easiest thing to do, according to the probation service. Well, I mean, we could have told you that, and we did tell you that, I think, way back when they started letting people out of prison. I don't know whether the prison release scheme is still ongoing, but, you know, we knew it wouldn't really work.
Well, I think there's a number of contributing factors to this. You know, in the past 3 years, the number of recalls has almost doubled from just over 13,000 to nearly 26,000.
Yeah.
But out of those, you know, they didn't commit further crime. They were just sent back to prison for non-compliance to licence conditions, sort of, you know, not turning up for probation appointments,
right,
etc., etc. Yeah, it does seem like it's an easy option for the probation service. The problem is, of course, you know, with population pressures, with the early release scheme, with longer sentences, with the fact that now, since 2014, all prisoners who are released have to be monitored and supervised by probation, whereas before those serving less than 12 months didn't have to be. So, yeah, I mean, you know, Shabina Mahmood said last July she was going to invest in another 1,000 probation officers. But, of course, you know, that takes time. You know, for a probation officer, you know, it's just over 2 years training. So, you know, it's part of our broken justice system, yeah, unfortunately.
But that's the thing, because at the end of the day, apparently it says that now 15% of the total number of people behind bars are people who have been sent back in after they've been released. So there's clearly a problem, and you've always said this, Vanessa, with what happens when they're in there as well, because what they're not being encouraged to do is figure out how to stay away.
Yeah, and this all comes, you know, from you know, the prison services. Part of their job is to resettle prisoners, to reintroduce them back into the community, to become useful citizens and lead law-abiding lives. And, yeah, and you know, we know that our prison service fails drastically on that. We have the worst reoffending rates in Western Europe. Yeah. And again, you know, Mike, I can't say this enough. The bigger picture is how our prison system has been run into and our justice system for that matter, right, has been run into the ground.
Yeah, right. And is that system of sort of releasing them back into the community so that they can make room for more people, is that still going on? Is that still a thing, or has it been abandoned?
No, I think the 40% is still ongoing. It'll be interesting when the figures come out for the Labour government's early release scheme in September and October, where they released just over 5,000 prisoners, to see how many of those were recalled. And I think those figures come out in the next couple of months. So that'll be quite interesting to see how many were resettled and how many actually just turned around and got on that crime roundabout and went back in.
Because I don't know whether it's just the way that the media cycle works, but you know how when we're watching footage of all these prisoners getting released back in sort of back end of last summer, I suppose it was all we thought about for about a week or maybe 2 weeks, and then suddenly there was some more released, and you know, suddenly it all goes away again and everybody forgets about it.
Yes, and that is the way of the media, isn't it? You know, something else comes up that's far more important and much more interesting, and we do forget about it. But you know,
but it's also the way of the government as well, because nobody in government seems to be talking about it either.
No, I agree. It's all gone very quiet, but I would imagine they're waiting for some interesting reviews coming out, the Gork review, which allegedly is early spring, and that's the sentencing review. Yeah. And also I hear now Leveson is going to do a review. So there's a lot of reviews around. The most important
Can't move for reviews, can you?
Well, no, absolutely. But the most important thing is so that something positive, happens after the review.
Well, that would be nice, but I don't hold up much hope, I'm afraid. There's a lot going wrong at the moment in this
No,
country.
I'm not holding my breath either, Mark.
No, I wouldn't. Vanessa Frake, good to talk to you, former prison governor, of course. Yeah, I mean, isn't it funny how we spent an awful lot of time last year talking about prisoner release and how dangerous it was and how ridiculous it was that they were releasing all these people. It now turns out that about half of them have probably gone back in now, and the probation service are basically admitting that they can't handle the numbers of people who are being let out of prison because they can't keep an eye on them and they don't know what they're doing. And then we wonder why we've got a lawless country. We wonder why crime is being committed at record levels, and we wonder why that's all happening. Nobody's putting the two things together, though, are they? We're releasing more crooks back into the streets and crime's gone up. Who could have predicted it?